You're listening to the Normal Isn't Necessary podcast, brought to you in part by the Gumball Head Sobriety Society and generous listeners just like you. For the latest updates, check out the link in our bio.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host and your longtime fan. Yes, I am a fan of you, Gumball Head. Welcome to the Normal Isn't Necessary podcast. We talk about whatever we want just because we can. Freedom of speech, right? That's what we do. This is Road Rants. This is a, Friday edition of Road Rants. Today is Friday the 20th, 2026. I've been absent this week. My apologies, my sincerest apologies, because we had a baby last week. Thursday, the 12th of March, 2026, our newest edition, hashtag Bling Bling, has entered the playing field as a part of the Normal Isn't Necessary podcast family, another gumball in the Gumball Head Mental Health Network, and we couldn't be happier. Our baby was born. She was the biggest baby today, 8 pounds, 2 ounces, 20 inches long. I haven't had the opportunity to humble brag about her at all, because I went straight from, being a new dad to taking care of wife and baby. Loosely, I say that loosely. My wife will probably tell you that I've been a terrible husband, and I feel as if I have, kind of. But I've tried very hard to be a good husband and be a good dad and all this. Number 7 collectively. It's like we're collecting those Crocs clip-ons from McDonald's right now or something. Except for they all have names. Anyway, excuse me. Didn't mean for that cough. Things have been going great, guys, and I apologize for my absence. However, necessity. I mean, we all know that when big things happen in our lives, we have to take a break from everything else, focus on the big things, and that's what we've been doing. But it gives me a good opportunity to talk about how big things do affect us in the way that we perform. Performance adjustments rather than performance enhancements. Now, I will state this. If someone has sex, if someone gets laid, that might improve their performance at their job. Coming in a little bit of a chippier mood or coming in a better mood versus, coming in a bad mood as regular. But having a baby literally takes everything out of you, and that's not just... obviously it takes everything out of you legitimately with the mothers and this and that. But man, what a mind-altering experience for men. And I'm trying very hard to be very coy in the profanity here. I have so many words at the tip of my tongue because I've been watching what I say, because I've been around the kids so much lately. I will say this, dirty diapers are abundant. I'm kind of over Miss Rachel. Honestly, I'm going nuts. I'm not used to having this much one-on-one time with the kids, and I love every minute of it. But I am looking forward to going to work. And I'm sure my wife is looking forward to me to going to work too. This is just an individualized rant. But I wanted to kind of bring this to the attention of all the women out there. And, even the guys too, because I don't think anybody really analyzes stuff. I mean, you probably do. But to the extent of Gumball Head analyzation, you may not. And I broke it down like this. There's a couple of different categories. The first category is what does she know, right? What does she know about me? What does she know about how my feelings are? What does she know about my emotions? Yes, I know you're trying to reach out and see how we're feeling and where we're at and this and that, right? Guys don't talk about that stuff. We don't talk about that stuff, period. We have the ability to talk about it, and our significant others encourage us and entice us into talking about things like that. But guys, even if we have a really good relationship with our significant other, there are things that lock away in our brains that we just don't talk about. And that's the things that even on all men's retreats, where it's all men, we don't talk about that stuff at the retreats either. Those are those desocialized, intellectual, internal comments and conversations that we just don't share, right? It's not because of shame. It's just because we know that it may, quote unquote, be normal to have these thoughts. When I say normal to have these thoughts, I'm talking about, the darkness. But I'm not talking about full-on darkness. I'm just saying, the fantasy of it. Of what would life be like if I wasn't here. And I'm not trying to say this by any means by, to as an admission or anything. I'm just saying these thoughts happen because they did happen. And, just thought processes, And I'm not saying about, like, suicide or killing myself or anything like that. It's just those fantastical thoughts where we think about different things that flash into our life. How much different would my life be if I was still married to my high school sweetheart? How much different would life be if I would have gotten a vasectomy? How much life would be, so how much different would life be if these scenarios happen? And we don't share those because we don't want to upset our significant others. And not only that, but we don't want to fantasize about those things longer than a day or two, And then we go into that second level of, man, the baby's going to get all the attention. I'm not going to get any attention anymore. And if you're anything like me, I appreciate attention. I appreciate, being the center of attention. It doesn't always have to be the case, right? It doesn't always have to be, I'm the center of attention and you will pay attention to me. But the attention to us dissipates. It disintegrates substantially as a result of, a new baby being in the world. Think about it. Everybody leading up to the event and the moments of having the baby. Oh, man, congratulations, dude. That's so awesome. Hey, man, that's so great to hear. Hey, man, I'm so happy for you, this and that, and the other thing. And then the baby comes and it's like, how's wife and mom? Okay, well, the attention's off us. It's no longer focused on us. It's all about wife and mom, or wife and baby. But the reality of it is your work's done, man. You're done with it. Your participation trophy arrived in the female, and now, your work's over. You don't need to do anything else. Now all the focus is on the mother and the baby. And then that looming deadline of returning back to work after being off with wife and baby for a period of time falls into that third category of, well, now I got to go back to being a parent and, an employee and, bringing money home versus hanging out at home in your underwear long term, taking naps on the couch with your youngest kids, and this is just my situation, but everybody's got a similar situation, I'm sure. Everybody's got a similar opportunity to, think about the things that change after, a child comes. So, I was just sitting in the Kroger parking lot, and I was messaging Afro Man, the Because I Got High guy. And he's had some stuff happening recently here in the area. Ironically enough, he lives nearby me, within a 30-minute travel. But he's had some stuff happening recently with law enforcement that raided his home, and I'm not going to go too deep into it. If you want to know about it, you can go to his Instagram, it's OG Afroman, or you can probably find the information out on the internet. But I was just sitting here thinking about it, and ever since we moved to Ohio, and I found out that he lived in Ohio, or that he's from Ohio, every time I think about things, because I got, I had a baby with my wife, and then I got, so I've always changed the lyrics to accommodate the song, but the irony of it is that's one of those songs that's like, it literally fits, and it fit a majority of my teenage years, well, not teenage years, but early 20s, when it came to just life in general, when I was smoking pot a lot regularly and doing this and that and the other thing, and just doing things that, naughty people do, and then it became legal, and, just crazy things are, looking at some of the stuff that they talk about, in digging into the lawsuit and stuff. Afro Man, in the allegations against him and the charges that have been brought up against him and this and that, they don't even make sense to me. They just don't. What'd they raid his house for? Well, they thought that he had a sex dungeon, or, he was kidnapping kids, or that he was moving copious amounts of marijuana. So what if he is? Dispensaries do that all the time. I'm Team Afro Man here, 100%. You know, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to do anything that's, you know, he didn't break any laws. He didn't break any rules. And not only that, but they rented his house while he was gone. Wasn't even home when it happened, it sounds like. I don't know. Haven't talked to him. I'm speculating based on what I heard on the internet. But provisions. Providing things to people. Providing, you know, opportunities. Providing, you know, providing for our household. But I was sitting there and I was sending him a message to see if maybe he'd be interested in doing an interview with us. I'll meet him in person. I'll meet him in a coffee shop or a Subway restaurant. I'll do it on the internet so we don't get interrupted. I'll meet him at his home. He can come to my home. Whatever. I just want to see if he'll do an interview with me. And guys, when I say I want to do an interview with him, it's not about all the stuff that's going on now. We all know that the concept and the idea behind it is in the pursuit of music, in the pursuit of love of you know what we are doing here and the things that we want to be, you know, congruent to life. And the overall idea is trying to make sure that we are doing the things that we promised to do and that we want to do, and coming up with these ideas for different opportunities. So, if you guys know Afterman, check on him. See if he's willing to do an interview with me. Otherwise, stay tuned. Hopefully something comes of it. I just wanted to pop in, say, hey guys, sorry I've been gone. Stay tuned. We'll have more information coming up, more interviews coming up, more interactivity, more podcasts and whatnot coming. Just stick around. We'll see you guys. Till I pass across, stay strong, stay focused, stay sober. Much love. We'll see you guys soon.